choose it. I just didn't choose right. Not to say that at the journey, as the journey was happening, I wasn't trying to make that right with my situation.
Yeah.
At the time. Kia, that I'm saying.
Okay.
So
the first baby
mother.
Okay.
Because man, we caught like COVID in 2020. I mean, inseparable. Just man.
That's the best way.
You feel me? Like, bro, we jumped off the porch and was just like inseparable. And then that's where she was like, I can't stay with you because I gotta go take care of my daughter. I was like, man, look, we're gonna make this a family. That was my pursuit then because I come from that.
Yeah.
Stay with me. I come from that.
So you wanted that because that's what you saw.
Always wanted that. Still to this day, I want family. I believe in family. I don't have no friends. I made this a public service announcement. I don't have friends. I have family.
Okay.
Listen, welcome to Dark Arts Podcast. I want to say this now. When a man consistently says, I know what a good relationship looks like, I know what a good marriage looks like, but continues to avoid the true commitment that comes with it by dealing with low stakes relationships, then tells you that he has knowledge around this area, but then he seemingly doesn't do what's right. This can be looked at as emotional manipulation. This is part 2 of our breakdown of Cam Newton's conversation with Kay Michelle. I want to let you know that as we're coaching this through, we're going to unpack how, you can use self-awareness as a shield, as a manipulation tool, offering just enough psychological babble and explanations about your behavior to keep women invested, but never actually invest in them. And so while never actually stepping into a place where you honor a commitment and step into a role where you're fully embodying the responsibility it comes with, Cam Newton sets you up with a commitment and a responsibility of kids, but doesn't want to commit to you in an emotional capacity. And therefore you take on responsibility physically through children and he takes on financial responsibility, but what you miss is the emotional connection between the two of you. And so somebody who tells you that they know better, they know relationships, they know what a good relationship looks like, I know what a good woman looks like, but talks but no action, and is consistently in a space where they are abusing the truth that they said they have, where they're offering you hope but no security. They're willing to engage in low stakes relationships, which is basically a relationship that doesn't have the emotional commitment to. It's a low stakes relationship where sex is involved and where you guys might have kids, but you never actually have the high stakes of emotional connection, because emotional connection, once it's connected, you're together, you're intertwined. And once it breaks, it hurts. Right? So we're going to break this down and just be able to introduce you a little bit to understanding, especially for the ladies, how to really spot what's actually going on with Cam Newton. You probably can see it, but sometimes it's hard to be able to explain it. So let's get into it.
Take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland.
It's going to be interesting to break this down.
And I show you how.
The Dark Arts.
All right, let's get into these dark arts breakdown. Number one, I want to say this first and foremost. There is a lot going on, right? When it comes to the manipulation here, right? So the verbal accountability without action, him saying, I am somebody who is, understands what a good relationship looks like. I'm all about this. I know what it looks like. I know how it should be, right? This will impact you as a woman, that you will keep hope alive as if he's working on himself. He can future fake, which I spoke about in part 1, which creates emotional investment and patience. He does emotional openness without commitment and makes women feel like they're emotionally connected, but really and truly it's a game. And there is no real full commitment gained in this place. Oh, he can tell you how, I'm trying to be better. I'm somebody who understands your emotions. Are taking that into account. He can talk emotional talk, but there is no commitment behind it. And then, being a person who doesn't want to accept the accountability, trying to manage your own image, and you speak a little bit of a babble, but the reality is the action doesn't follow again. Okay. And then having multiple relationships, this makes a person throw their emotional validation across the way. And so actually they're never really reliant on you as a partner. They are open to having multiple because they are the ones who are feeding the stability that he feels by not having to commit to one person who would challenge his stability emotionally in his heart. Okay, so a man's awareness of what's right means nothing if he continues to avoid it and embody it. So, ladies, what do you have to watch out for? Red flags here. When someone consistently talks about knowing what a relationship looks like, but no timeline, no tangible steps towards it, they are not engaged in really trying to commit to you. Okay, when they're consistently talking about the future, but you never see a timeline, you never hear tangible steps towards it, yeah, they're probably setting you up, getting you emotionally invested to take something from you emotionally, okay, or sexually. Emotional transparency that never converts to action is a problem. If they're always telling you, no, I can see my faults. I know what happens. I know when I get angry, what happens, right? Abusers do this, right? This is not my fault. Da, da, da. And then they go back and do the exact same thing again, and the exact thing again, exact thing again. And every time they're going to tell you, my bad, that's not me. I'm a different person. I've changed, blah, blah, blah. But the emotional transparency never leads to change action. That's number two. Number three, the multiple children outside of commitment whilst continuing to build emotional bonds with new partners is crazy work. Red flag. If somebody's out here trying to draw you into a commitment, right? But you recognize that the person's having children outside of wedlock and talking about how they want to be married or at least how they want to be family, because that was the other word he used. I'm looking for family, which is actually a low stakes comment to make, because again, he wants a family without the commitment, right? He wants a family with the fact that he can pay the bills, yeah, but emotionally being connected is going to be very difficult. You've got 3 different households to be in. How are you going to be emotionally connected when you're thinking about making money every single time so that you can actually feed your kids and feed your family and not look like a bum? Because a lot of times we put a lot of energy into financially providing without dealing with the emotional provision that's needed, right? And so when someone use words like, I'm working on me, I'm working to be better, I'm in therapy right now, yet you don't see the growth in their behavior, then usually it's an emotionally stalling tactic. It's to get you excited about the fact that, oh, this person might be mature, grown, and healed. And reality is the behaviors are going to show you whether they're healed or not. And so with Cam Newton having 3 baby mothers, mistake after mistake after mistake, is telling us that you're probably not healed. So I want to let you know that men's words should match their behavioral patterns, okay? And so emotional access should never be granted on future promises, only on current behavior. So what are they doing right now? What have they said they're going to do, and has it matched their behavior? If it hasn't, we've probably got a problem, okay? If he can have children but then not commit to marriage, because marriage seems to be a much bigger commitment, then you've got a red flag. Why is children, which are forever there, a smaller commitment, a bigger commitment than marriage? Marriage is a sacred thing, and if he can commit to kids but can't commit to marriage, there's something wrong. Something's upside down. Yeah, you're not his long-term plan. He's waiting for the right kind of person. You're gonna be crying in your sleep and in your wakes. Do not engage with such men who do not speak and do accordingly. Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave it there because I think that's enough to kind of break down. But I want you to understand there's a manipulation in the space of Cam Newton never really following through his actions. We're yet to see it. Like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. Appreciate you guys. Salute.